Welcome to the 50th Balloon Fiesta.
Looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Hundreds of balloons in the sky, thousands of people walking around collecting cards and looking at the balloons. Pilots using the fire to get it to stand up. Zebras running around in their cute and funny outfits. As you can meet so many amazing people while eating a turkey leg. I really hope I would understand what it's like. Balloon Fiesta is a second home to me. It's so important to me, in fact. My parents met because of ballooning. They were both pilots or crew members at the time, and they met because of ballooning. Their wedding invitations were shaped as balloons, and my middle name is Sky because of it. And would you believe me if I said, this has been going on for 50 years now? 50 years! That seems like a long time, especially to a kid. As a child, I always knew the story of how ballooning came, but I never knew the story of how Balloon Fiesta started. And it was my great honor to learn the history by a very special guest. So how are you doing today?
I'm great.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Colby.
So who are you?
My name is Nita Courtney.
And what was my next question? How many Balloon Fiestas have you been to?
My first Balloon Fiesta was probably 1975, and I flew most Balloon Fiestas until around 2000, 2005. And then I traveled a great deal during that time, and so I wasn't always in Albuquerque for Balloon Fiesta, but many.
You've been to many Balloon Fiestas. That's amazing. From your memory, what's the history of Balloon Fiesta?
Well, with Sid Cutter, as you know, he bought a balloon for his mother's birthday and inflated it out in the Cutter field for her birthday, and then and that's the way I feel. Ballooning was so much fun that his brothers, all involved in Cutter Aviation, and several other local people that still fly, well, maybe not still fly, but they're still involved because they are in their 80s. And we just started buying balloons because it just seemed the thing to do.
Yeah. How has Balloon Fiesta grown?
Oh my goodness. You know, we started with 13, and they did honor those 13 this year at the 50th anniversary. And I was Balloonmeister in 83 and 84, and I think we had something like 370 or 80 balloons, and then it just blossomed. And in 2000, we had 1,000 balloons. But there are such space requirements anymore that have been restricted by the growth of Albuquerque that they've had to cut back.
We missed Balloon Fiesta once because of those cutbacks. My dad forgot to sign up. He signed up too late, and they're like, sorry, we have no more room.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of people applied for the 50th and did not manage because they were holding it to 800 balloons.
Yeah. So what has been changed and what has been added?
Oh my goodness, Colby. It used to be we flew in the morning and that was it. And we had a hare and hound or perhaps a target. They did start doing the polls, pole grab with money on it or keys to a car. Then they started adding the evening glows. They started adding things during the day, the special shapes. I don't remember exactly what year the special shape started. I'm going to say 85.
85?
I'm not positive.
That's okay.
But, and started adding all of these events, I think, in the hopes of bringing more crowds in. And of course, the special shapes draw lots of crowds. And started doing the glows at night, and we used to do flights. The special shapes used to fly those Thursday and Friday afternoon, but there were some afternoon flying in Albuquerque is not always great.
No.
And after a couple of incidents, now they just do a glow.
And speaking of incidents, I do know a lot of rules have changed from year to year. One of the main rules my dad always reminds me of is that you have to have 100 hours before you can even try to be a part of Balloon Fiesta. Why is that happening, other than safety regulations, of course?
Not many. Albuquerque is an ideal place for ballooning. I mean, we can generally fly about 360 days a year until global warming screwed things up. You're not supposed to say that. Let that out. The weather here is ideal, and other places in the country do not have that. We are also a higher elevation, which creates differences in how your balloon reacts, and not everyone has that experience. This has changed because I took my private check ride on a Friday morning and I flew Fiesta the next day. And nobody was really surprised, you know. That was just the way it was. There's no way you could do that today. Also, this is a larger group, perhaps the largest group of balloons gathered. And within this space, it makes it very difficult sometimes to navigate because balloons are coming up, balloons are coming down. You really have to be right on top of it to be able to navigate in that many balloons. And because landing sites, and that's the biggest issue currently, landing sites are limited. And so you really try to get your system all packed up and out of the way before somebody, and make that space available to someone else.
So, what do you think the next Balloon Fiesta will be like?
A letdown.
A letdown?
I'm sorry, for me. For me, I believe, because they did such a big build-up and they did so many great things, I really think that it will be a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, especially since maybe the wire will be the same next year. Usually people don't like talking about global warming, but sadly it is a thing, and it is affecting the ballooning community a lot.
Tremendously. I look at the weather chart every day, and I have never seen the jet stream do the things that it does now, up and down and around. And I don't think there's any way you can argue that we don't have some changes going on.
Yeah. But on a happier note, what's your favorite balloon?
Oh, my favorite balloon is mine.
Oh.
Well, except I sold it last year.
Oh.
But that is so hard because I think in my lifetime I've only seen 2 what I would consider ugly balloons. And so it's really hard, but, and I've had about 7 balloons. And so it's really hard to say, what is your favorite?
So your own balloon, which I'm assuming is based off of your earrings?
Yes, it is.
So could we have someone zoom in on our earrings real quick?
It was what's called, it is because it's still in town. It's local. I sold it to someone else in town. But it's what's called a racer. It goes up fast, it comes down fast, but it also stops fast. And it had chilies on it, and so it was so appropriate for New Mexico.
I love that. I also love that you talked about the racer balloons, because a lot of people don't know there are multiple balloons. They think it's just pretty fabric that goes up and comes down.
Right.
So I know this is like not part of the questions, but what are the types of balloons?
Round ones. That's pretty obvious. And that was considered the standard shape until they started designing the racers. And the racers, and got that name because They do go up and down fast, and primarily came out of balloon competitions, because you're really trying to maneuver around and get to a certain spot and avoid people and utilize the winds that are available, and the racers allow you to do that. Otherwise, they're the standard size, the standard shape, which is a little bit slower. The racer is more football shaped, so that theoretically it will go up because it has the point. It will go up faster rather than your rounder envelope.
So a little bit more, let's just talk about how balloons work.
Okay.
So a lot of people know it has to do with hot wind, hot air, but there has been things like, oh, the balloon has caught on fire because it's too hot, or I'm not being able to stay on the ground because my balloon's too cold right now and the wind's gonna take me. So how does that all really work?
Well, it's a very simple physics principle that hot air is lighter than cold air. And part of that, it's like when you boil water and you get all these little bubbles that come up to the top. Well, they take more space than what was in there. That's the same way with all of the molecules in a balloon, and they take more space because they're hot and they're bouncing off of each other. Therefore, the air that used to take this much space now takes this much space, and so it makes it lighter than the air that it's around it, or the ambient air. Temperature is, they're never two balloon trips exactly the same. The temperature is different outside, so you either have to fly hotter or less hot. Your payload, being you and your passengers, will never be exactly the same weight. It really is seat of the britches flying, and you just eventually get that feel of what it's going to take and how much you need to burn. As far as catching on fire, most balloons are made either of polyester or nylon, which will just melt and disintegrate. There are some that have silicone coating that will sustain fire. Most of those are special shapes, and so most of us don't have that problem to experience. You can, if you fly too hot, there is a max temperature for your fabric that the manufacturers submit. If you extend past that max temp too many times, you will damage the fabric, and eventually it just crumbles.
And that's another reason why we wear gloves, because our oils can't damage that fabric.
Correct.
So don't run up to a balloon and touch it. I'll fight you. So
We don't like, well, and then the oils also attract the dirt and the dust. In New Mexico, that is just so prevalent.
yeah. But is there anything else you want to say? You think that would be important for everyone to know?
I think we're all very, very fortunate to live in Albuquerque, the balloon capital of the U.S., maybe the world. And this is one of my favorite things. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Of course, thank you.
Many people come to Balloon Fiesta, from the crew, pilots, zebras, and workers that put it on. Like I said, I have been going to Balloon Fiesta my whole life, 17 years now. My first Balloon Fiesta was at the age of 93 days, and my first flight was at 1 year and 9 months. This is the second home to me, and as our timer goes down to the 50th anniversary, let me take you around, let you meet some people, and enjoy the 50th anniversary. On Friday, the day before Balloon Fiesta, 13 balloons took off with Cornell Mall. when I say I really wish I got this on camera, I was driving to school because it's Friday. I get to see 13 balloons that lifted off just like on the first ever balloon fiesta. Go and join 100 other crews and pilots that were also flying that day. It was really beautiful. And I didn't even know what was in store for us.
During this balloon fiesta, they had something very special, a drone show. This has never happened in Balloon Fiesta history, and I would like to show you some of my favorite parts. drone show, Dawn Patrol starts. Dawn Patrol is a group of balloons that fly during dawn. Not only is it a beautiful thing to see, it also lets other pilots know what the weather will be like.
Once the balloons go up, you sit and question, who actually sets them up? I also always ask, what's it like to be a pilot?
How's it going? I'm Gary.
My name is Qiu Shenfu Dahai.
Charlie Buck. My name is Mark Trailis. My name is Donnie Poplar.
My name is Matt Todd. My name is Corey.
My name is Mark.
My name is Luke Sesnick.
My name is Anthony Trianis.
My name is Lisa Geldo.
And I'm Gabby Gelderman.
How long have you been doing Balloon Fiesta?
Since 2002.
Well, my first flight from Fiesta was when I was 13 years old. But this will be my 23rd year as a pilot.
I have been crewing for about 25 years or so.
Goodness, that's a good question. I don't know, a lot. I don't know what my number would be. Do you know?
A little over 20.
A little over 20.
Yeah, so probably 22, 23.
22, 23.
For about 15 years.
15 years. And how long have you been a pilot for?
Honestly, it's been a while since I did the math, but about 30 years, I think.
And how long have you flown in Balloon Fiesta?
About the same time. I think I started flying in this event 2 or 3 years after I got my pilot's license, and I've randomly skipped a year or two, but I think I'm at about 24, 25 years.
This Fiesta, I've been there 4 years.
I've been a part of the crew for this balloon since we started flying it. That's probably been 2000.
I started in 2001.
All right, I've been flying since 1967, and I've gotten all my ratings, a lot of my ratings in fixed-wing aircraft. And then in 1990, somebody gave me a balloon ride, so I've been flying balloons for almost 33 years now.
And how many hours have you flown?
I've got about 7 hours as of right now.
So, is this the first balloon you've ever had, or have you flown other balloons?
I did own another balloon before this one. It was a Firefly, it was multicolored. It was called All Avoid. But now we fly the Grateful Red. So the balloon I used to fly was called Blue Horizon, and I started flying that in 2001. And it was the pilot of this balloon, Gary Boyd, who introduced me to the balloon.
People in my company. My company, we have 12 balloons. All balloon, all about the bear.
All bears? Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that I have no clue, honestly. I've flown lots of different special shapes of balloons for people. Part of in my eyes, my contribution to Balloon Fiesta is I register my balloon every year, and every year, the week before Balloon Fiesta, somebody ends up in a pinch, has a problem with the United States recognizing their foreign pilot's license, or they get sick, or just random things, and I've always made myself available to help out and fly whatever they need me to do.
What makes your balloon unique?
Our balloon is unique because it is a very old balloon. The basket was made in 1977, and it is an aluminum basket. Most of you see now are made out of wicker. But our envelope is also very old. It was made in 1984 and been rebuilt once, and it's trained over 40 pilots. It's a very old balloon, lots of history, a lot of people in programs.
My balloon is from Taiwan, Taipei City. The balloon name is Bravo Bear.
Do you know what POW-MIA stands for?
I know what MIA stands for.
What is that?
Missing in action.
Okay, and POW is prisoners of war. So we fly, if you look at the front of the trailer right there, we fly for the over 80,000 people that never came home. We lost.
right? But also, more importantly, for the family members that are still waiting to hear whether or not they found anybody. Right?
Well, this particular balloon is the Old McDonald Farm balloon, which is kind of fun for the kids. That's what we're all out here for, to put smiles on the kids' faces. It happens to be owned by a very good friend of mine named Jared Matt in Thailand. This balloon lives in Thailand. They wanted it to participate in this event. You can't even imagine the logistical challenges of getting this balloon all the way over here. It's been months of preparations. I can't even imagine what it's costing to get it done. They just wanted it here. And their pilot that normally flies this in Thailand just wasn't able to make it, so I stepped in for them. They're just good friends of mine, and I enjoy being able to help out.
What was your first balloon fiesta like?
Let's see, this is my 17th balloon fiesta right now. First one was just crazy. It was like one of those things where you basically come to these things and you're just kind of in awe, you know. Just kind of, wow, look at this, you know. So, yeah.
My first balloon fiesta was wonderful. I flew around and it was just a great time. So yeah, that was my first fiesta. My first fiesta, I only had a few hours as pilot in command. So I was not experienced very much. And I did have an incident where I ripped open part of my balloon and ended up laying the balloon over power lines.
Of course, we are very excited because this event is the big and many balloon in the world. We want to promote Taiwan, so we joined here because this is international. Very many pilots from international and other countries come here. We want to learn how to fly, and we want to fly the box wing. So we are very excited.
So there's now regulations put in where you have to have 100 hours to fly. What do you think of that? How important is that?
I think it's very important. I think, you know, it went into effect like a year after I had my incident. So I don't know, maybe I was one of the deciding factors, but I think it's very important. This is a very stressful, it's a tough place to fly. You know, you're typically flying with 550 to 650 of your closest friends in the air looking for landing spots. So it's very stressful. It's very hard to fly here. And we do have unique weather patterns. And for example, today, I mean, it started out as a beautiful day and the winds have come up and it's getting a little bit breezier. You can look around, you can see less balloons going up. More of them just fighting the wind on the ground.
And will you try to get the 100 hours requirements so you can fly a balloon fiesta?
I'm definitely looking to do that, yes.
Awesome. What's your favorite job to do as a pilot?
I like to do the crown line. I like to be pulled in and have the full force of the balloon pull me.
Meeting all people.
I like to do the crown line.
I'm happy working at the road.
So what would you suggest for people who want to become pilots or working on becoming pilots? What's some tips you have for them?
Well, I would suggest going online. There's a balloon club in town. It's called Quad A. Go on there. They have some postings usually for people that are looking to come out and crew and help, and then just get involved, get introduced to it. And then from there, you can probably meet people that'll teach you, or you can go to the right companies, and they'll actually take and teach you how to fly.
Well, especially during Balloon Fiesta, with a lot of balloons being here, it's very easy to talk to somebody and you can hook up with a balloon real easy. And all you got to do is just communicate.
I always suggest go talk to a crew member. Go talk to somebody who has a balloon. When you're out here, it's that easy. A lot of times, crew likes to have extra crew. So especially during Fiesta, they like to have people come out, and you get to meet a lot of nice people, and you get to have a good time.
Give us a phone number. We'll bring you out whenever we go.
If you know anybody who's on a chase crew or even who's a pilot, get their phone number and you can start that way.
Crew and pilots have some interesting things. They get more than just a goodie bag, free breakfast, and easy ways to figure out the weather and contact zebras. That's a lot more than what the public gets. But what is there for the public when it comes to food, souvenirs, and games?
And that was the amazing building. They don't always have it every year, but it's always great when they do. It's a great way for anyone to learn about ballooning. They have areas talking about the history of ballooning. They have areas where you can figure out how to fly a balloon in different ways. And they also have things like figuring out how to weave your baskets. Now we're gonna head into concession row, and I would like to just remind everyone that I'm not an expert. I just have been doing these for a long time. I've grown up here. This is the second home for me, but that does not mean that that I know everything. So this is what I personally have experienced. And now we're gonna go through concession row. We're gonna see some amazing dances. We're gonna do some amazing music, and we're gonna get some ice cream. So what is your name and what's your shop?
My name is Eric Hunt. I own Spoonman Creations. We make lots of things out of silverware and utensils and knives and things like that.
What made you want to create your company?
My dad started our company in 1971, so we've been around about 50 years. And as a family, we kind of all put our heads together and came up with all the different designs we have. So it's kind of just in my blood that I've kind of grown up with it.
And is this your first Balloon Fiesta working?
Yeah, my first Balloon Fiesta. We are from Salem, Oregon. We traveled down just to come bring our stuff to you guys and check out the Balloon Fiesta.
Have you ever been here as like a visitor?
Yeah, so my son went to college in Arizona, so we've driven through Albuquerque a couple times, but never at Balloon Fiesta.
How do you like it? Is it stressful?
Well, obviously we have a booth here, so there's lots of people to talk to, but it's my job, so like I love it. You know, I love crowds and things like that.
What's your favorite balloon so far?
Yeah, well, we actually, I kind of like the shaped ones, like the cow or the Rafiki, like Lion King or something like that. The big shaped, yeah.
Awesome.
I like it. Hey, have a great day.
You too.
I've always heard of the Balloon Fiesta, and I've seen pictures, and I've always wanted to attend. I love ballooning, and it's just such a beautiful sight from the pictures. So I was like, I would love to join, and they were happy. I was very grateful that they accepted that we were able to join this year, and also introduce our beautiful teas to all the balloon crews. You know, you need a warm cup of tea when you come down from up there. It's cold up there. So yeah, what we do is we specialize. We put honey granules in the tea bags with the tea already. So you just put it in your cup and add hot water. You're good to go. Convenient, delicious.
Awesome. So, how long have you been running this business for?
About 9 years now. Yes, yeah. So it's been a lot of fun.
Where can they find you? Online? Anywhere like that?
Online, but we mainly do shows. We mainly come to shows. So we're excited to be at Balloon Fiesta, and we do the New Mexico State Fair. We do just lots of different fairs and festivals all around.
Awesome.
And what is it like for this to be your first balloon fiesta? Is it overwhelming? Are you having a lot of fun here?
I'm having a ball. I mean, I can walk out this door 15 feet and see these amazing hundreds of balloons in the air. I just went down to the balloon field and it's wild down there. You know, you've got like flamethrowers blowing these balloons up, you know, and you know, they're just popping up into the air all next to each other. It's surreal. It's really, really amazing. So I'm very grateful to be here.
I'm glad. What's your favorite balloon so far?
That's an interesting question. I saw the cow yesterday. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. They're all just fun and different. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a wonderful time.
Thanks. Thank you. You too.
Sadly, as the days go by, we saw the weather get worse and worse. And a lot of people couldn't fly. No glows even happened this year. One night the rain was getting so bad they had to evacuate the field so the crew and pilots could get the balloons off into safety. However, even though this happened, we met some amazing people. One I got to interview. He's from the Netherlands. He is one of the sweetest men I've ever met, and not only that, he is seen as a balloon scholar in Europe. He has made multimedia projects to tell the world about hot air balloons and Balloon Fiesta. And I have the pleasure of introducing you to Ben Bless.
So welcome to the studio today, sir.
Thank you.
So what's your name? What do you do?
My name is Ben Bless. I am from Barneveld in the center of the Netherlands. And I was raised by my parents' philosophy that the value from a human being not depends on what he has, but on what he gives. You become richer the more you give. So I organized in my life many events for social care. And in 1976, there was an interview on a radio station. And at that time, I was manager of a big chicken processing plant, because Barneveld is a city of chicken and eggs. And after the interview, I gave the announcer and every part of the team deep freeze chicken. And another announcer came to me and said, Ben, you are organizing many big events. Can you use me? What can you give him? I am a hot air balloon pilot. And 2 years later, I had my first balloon ride. 1982, there was a very special moment, because 500 years before, a national hero, Jan van Schaffelaar, he jumped from the tower in Barneveld to free his flocked comrades. And 500 years later, I was the president of that foundation. And then I had the idea, 500 years ago, he jumped from the tower, and 500 years later, he had to go in the air with a hot air balloon. And so, that was the first Dutch balloon event.
Wow.
International Balloon Fiesta Barneveld. And I was 10 years the president on it. And when I stopped in 1992, I gave the people from the foundation a very special shape, a big chicken. Yeah? And in 2003, the event was cancelled because the old president did things and the community didn't accept it. And the community asked me, please, Ben, help us. And I said, okay, I do it, under condition that the profit is for a social care. And I was working 6 weeks. I left many weight on it. But in the first year, we had a profit from $100,000 and $55 for social care. And in the last, since 18 years, the profit is $350,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So 1976 was my first balloon ride. And 1991, I had my first trip to Albuquerque, the mecca of the ballooning. And when I started in Barneveld 1982, I started with taking slides. And 1987, I started with a slideshow with 2 projectors. And I tell you, 1998, I had an invitation to present my show in El Pinto, here in Albuquerque, for the main sponsors. And after that, unbelievable, they gave me a certificate, Goodwill Ambassador from Europe for New Mexico, because I have a multimedia. I changed my slideshow in 2007 until a multimedia show, and I'm the only in the world who has a presentation from the most important balloon events in the world. I have been in Mexico, I have been in Nepal, very special, the first balloon ride in Nepal, and of course several countries in Europe and Albuquerque.
You get to meet people from all over the world, and you get to learn so much about them, just like these people who just came to visit.
Alright, so what's your name?
Julian Tapia.
My name is Sam. This is my 9th time going to the Fiesta. My aunt is a pilot here, and I am part of her crew,
My name is McKenna. This is also my 9th year going to the Fiesta, and my aunt is also a pilot, and I am part of her family.
my name is Marissa. My grandma is a pilot here. My dad is also a pilot.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Jen.
I'm Reagan Beal. This is Olivia. I'm Heather. This is Heather.
Yeah, really good job.
So, this is your guys' first balloon fiesta? It is not. It has been about 10 years since we've had the balloon fiesta. Yes.
I've gone since I was a kid, and then I moved out like 6 years ago, so probably like 10 or 12.
10 or 12. This is my first one. It's actually probably my 5th.
What's it like to go to the balloon fiesta?
Amazing.
Amazing. Would you recommend it for others?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's incredible. I mean, here,
Her hands are in frame. She does that.
really kind of the boys that are It's really fun to crew. I like doing all the jobs. Working with adults is really fun. And my favorite job is when I get to
watch Balloon Fiesta literally fly by, I get to sit and question, what will next year be like? What's the 75th year going to be like? What about the 100th? And I'm really, really excited to see what Balloon Fiesta holds.